Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, starting on this 4-hour time frame for Bitcoin, because currently we are seeing a rejection from this descending line of resistance on the 4-hour time frame, but you can also see this quite nicely on the 1-day time frame. So this is specifically what I was talking about in yesterday's video. If you didn't see that, go check it out, because I will go in a bit more detail into that video yesterday. Today, I just want to go ahead and move on with the current day situation. So right now, if we look at this 4-hour time frame, we do have a bit of an ascending trend line here, and this will be absolutely critical to hold. Currently, we are finding some support there, so that is a good thing to see if you are a bull. But at the same time, if we were to lose this, then you do need to be realistic and start looking for some potential levels to the downside where we might find some support. So in that case, I would take a look at these Fibonacci levels. And you can see that right here, we have a short-term level of potential support because we have not closed a 4-hour candle yet below that 0.236 Fibonacci level. And this is sitting at about 98.1K in the Bitcoin price. Then, of course, we have that ascending trend line. Below that, if we were to break down below that ascending trend line, we do have this 0.382 Fibonacci level sitting at 96.4K, with below that, this level sitting at 95,000. Now, of course, I understand that I'm talking about that very, very early here, considering that we haven't even lost this level of support. So there's no point yet in really looking at this below. But of course, I'm making these videos 24 hours ahead of time. So I got to tell you which levels I am looking out for in the case that we do break below it between now and tomorrow's video. If we take a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, first of all, on this 3-day time frame, notice how we just took out a massive amount of liquidity here. Over $100 million worth of long positions just got taken out of the market by that move to the downside. And I mean, in terms of liquidity, there is some liquidity to the upside at about 100K, roughly speaking, but most of the liquidity on that 3-day time frame is to the downside, which is also, of course, because we have had a bit of an uptrend over the last 3 days. So there's about $100 million sitting at 96.2K, and even liquidity as low as about 95.3K. Lastly, there's also some liquidity sitting at around 94,000. So those are some areas of interest that I would be looking out for if we lose that ascending line of support. In terms of resistance to the upside here, we do have this descending line of resistance that I talked about earlier, which as of the time of recording is sitting at about 100.7K, but do keep in mind that this does trend down over time. If I'm just giving my broader analysis on the market right now on this 1-day time frame, for example, well, to me personally, this is still just in a downtrend because that is what technically we are seeing in the charts. If we were to now break above these previous highs at about 102.5K, potentially even make a higher low. So we have a low here, a high, a higher low, and then from there we start making this bullish structure, right? So that is something that I'm looking out for. And yes, if we really see that move above 102K, we will start to see me become more bullish once again. Another point of confluence for this idea that potentially we're going to get new highs for Bitcoin is this descending line in the RSI, which if this were to break out above that descending trend line, I think likely at that point, we are going to see Bitcoin move into overbought territory once again on the RSI. And I think that would also coincide simply with new all-time highs being reached for Bitcoin. So if I had to put it on a balance of probabilities right now in terms of like the longer term outlook for Bitcoin, well, technically speaking, right now, Bitcoin is in a downtrend on that 1-day time frame for now. But longer term, I think most likely we are going to see new all-time highs for Bitcoin being reached. And I think less likely 108K was actually the cycle top for Bitcoin, and we are going to get a full-on bear market 70% decline from here. I think that is less likely than Bitcoin reaching new all-time highs sometime in the future, potentially even sometime soon. And for that longer term perspective, I also like to look at the 1-year Bitcoin liquidation heat map. Notice how recently we swept all of this liquidity here, and we have actually left some liquidity as low as about 88,000 in the Bitcoin price. So we should be open to the possibility of potentially sweeping this in the case that we are not breaking that broader downtrend that I've been talking about in this video. But at the same time, we also have $14 billion worth of short liquidations sitting at 103.2K. And I think these bears will not go unpunished during this cycle, similar to what we saw over here when we were in that long consolidation in 2024. We saw all of this liquidity to the upside piling up. If you followed me at the time, you know that we kept looking at this liquidity over and over again. It was the base case on the channel that we would eventually liquidate all the bears here and then get higher prices for Bitcoin after that. And to me, this looks like a similar kind of setup, although it does have less liquidity for now. But the longer we spend going down here, the more liquidity is going to pile up to the upside, making it actually more likely that we are getting another move to the upside after that. But that is, of course, not financial advice. I'm simply telling you what I'm seeing in the charts, and you can do with that information what you like. Lastly, I want to take a quick look at the Bitcoin ETF flow tables, because yesterday I didn't have all the data. So yeah, in total, we got an inflow of over $750 million in a single day of trading. So this was on Wednesday, and the data that was missing yesterday was that BlackRock data. And yesterday they bought about $32 million worth of Bitcoin in a single weekday. Now, I do not have the data today because it is always 24 hours late. So tomorrow I'm going to come back here and report on the data from the 16th. Either way, this has been today's market update. Don't forget to check out the links in the video description, guys. I have a free trading course there. I have a free Discord community, which is one of the most active crypto trading communities in the crypto space right now, which you can join completely for free, like I said. But regardless, if you do end up checking it out or not, thank you for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.